freedom from hunger or thirst, freedom from discomfort, freedom from pain, injury or disease, freedom to express most normal behaviour, freedom from fear and distress. You might be thinking, well, it sounds like maybe the rights of prisoners or the rights of asylum seekers. What it actually is, it's the rights and the freedoms of animals, which is really good. And where it comes to those rights and freedoms being negatively impacted, there's the RSPCA and these other organisations who chase that up and police it and ensure those freedoms and standards are being enjoyed by animals. But when it comes to human rights, unfortunately it's not the case that our government sticks up for human rights. In fact, we know our government abuses human rights and breaches human rights. We've got kids in cages on Manus Island and Christmas Island. We've had the stolen generation. We've got these new draconian 501 laws where some muppet of dubious character is the judge, jury and executioner that deports people from Australia, and that's a breach of our human right to due process. So where it comes to homelessness, we're not surprised that people's rights aren't being upheld and their freedoms not being enriched and encouraged and supported by government. It's the Homeless Persons Union who's taking this stand here on Bendigo Street to ensure this happens no longer. Whether we're successful in achieving our goals or not, it's another story, because the government wants us to play in the boxing ring with, boxing gloves on, but they've got a chainsaw and shotguns. That's how they play. They play by their own rules. They just want to maintain order. We've had the policemen up the road say,
as I said, we just want this nice and peaceful. Everybody just get their signs.
There ain't no peace. This is war. This is war on our humanity. We've got people being preyed on by medical experimental mobs, paying them to be human guinea pigs. We've got brothers and sisters being raped on the streets. We've got families being tossed out of homes. And that's another example of cruel and inhumane treatment. Or you land on Struggle Street and all of a sudden you're begging and you get charged for it. Or moved on. Your right to freedom of movement, your right to freedom of association, your right to safety, your right not to end up in a private prison where they can profiteer from you. You've ended up on Struggle Street that you didn't create. When you think about how it was created, you take into consideration things like land banking. The government giving away all this land, 15 years of land to private developers. But they only drip feed it to us so that they can make the most amount of money out of each block of land that they sell. If they release that 15 years of land now, it'd have an impact on housing affordability and rental affordability. Well, the fact that there's so many unused properties out there that reduce the supply on the actual for the demand, which then again has this impact on housing affordability and rental affordability, which spills over. People joining the the public housing waiting list at 100 people per month. It's over 35,000. Because they can't afford to break into the housing market or the rental market. So, and where it comes to housing, the public housing, 2006 the UN came here and did a report and gave the government a black mark. Said you're not implementing policy that's progressive, you're not allocating adequate funding within the budget to deal with homelessness. You're not building public housing at a rate that keeps pace with its demand. You know, apparently last year they built 60 public housing properties. Ain't going to make much difference on 35,000 people waiting on them, but we saw them knock down 60, so really there's no sort of progressive increase in the number of public housings available, and they'll prioritise $1 billion worth of our tax money on an infrastructure project, that East-West link. Meanwhile, they've abandon their obligations to people who are experiencing homelessness or landing on a struggle street that they created. And the charities and the profiteers, the private mobs swoop in and profiteer from people who are experiencing disadvantage and provide them substandard support and lots of entry points to becoming homeless, but none of these services are really providing any tangible exit points. They need you to be dependent on them so that they can keep on making money off you.